they're flown in. They don't actually drive to the base. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're flown in from Las Vegas International Airport, I think McLean Airport, and they're flown in there. So most of the people who work, excuse me, in Area 51 live in the Las Vegas metropolitan area. So, and they're flown in, and then at the end of their shifts, they're flown out back into the Las Vegas area.
To me, what's even more fascinating about it, Nick, I'm looking at the Google satellite images and the photos of this base. Mm-hmm. It's a tiny base.
Yeah,
it's tiny compared to other bases that I personally have been to. Mm-hmm. I mean, like the base in I've been to the Air Force Base in Charleston, and in South Carolina, and I've been to the Air Force Base in North Carolina. Yeah. They're towns. They're so big that they're towns. They have their own grocery stores, post offices, any sort of modern amenity you can think of is located within the base. Whereas this is just, I don't know, a handful of hangars in the middle of the desert.
What people who say that has literally worked there and has said that most of the base is underground.
Right, I've heard that too.
Most of it's underground. So you, like the Air Force Base in Charleston, South Carolina, most of that stuff they have is underground in Area 51 supposedly. So supposedly there's an underground McDonald's there, and people work at the underground McDonald's.
To be fair, too, in the bases that I've been to, and in other bases around the country, majority of the land is taken up by residences, people that live on base.
Right.
There's housing for all the soldiers that are stationed at that base.
Right.
Whereas this, people if employees are being flown in and out, it's not like they're staying there.
Yeah, they're not staying there. There's probably very few housing options for them at Area 51. Unless it's underground. It's underground fucking mansions and stuff. Them living next door to gray aliens. But let's get to the history of Area 51. Then we get into the nitty gritty of it.
What's the actual name of the base? Because Groom Lake is just the dried up lake that's next to the base.
Yeah, the actual name of the base is Homey Airport.
Okay.
That is the actual name of the base.
Okay.
And it was named that way in 1955 when the United States Air Force acquired the site.
Okay.
And the closest surrounding town to Area 51 is a small town called Rachel, Nevada, which is on what they call the extraterrestrial highway. They renamed that highway that runs by Area 51 the extraterrestrial highway. The area is connected to the internal Nevada testing site road network with paved roads leading south to Mercury and west to the Yucca Flats, leading northeast from the lake, and wild and well-maintained Groom Lake Road runs through Pass and Jumbled Hills. The road formerly leads to mines in the Groom Basin and has been improved since their closure. Since it started off as like a silver mine when they first discovered it back in the 1800s. Prospectors would go out there looking for silver, so they built mines out there. And then when couldn't find any more silver, their silver dried up, they left the mines there, but then the United States government went to take over the installation and built an airport there. They improved the mines, closed them up, and I think that's what leads to the underground base there. The origin of Area 51, the name Area 51, is unclear. No one really knows how it got to Area 51. It's believed to be from an Atomic Energy Commission numbering grid, throughout Area 51 is not a part of this system. It is adjacent to Area 15. Another explanation that Area 51 was used because it's unlikely that the Atomic Energy Commission would use the number. According to the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, The correct name for the facility is again Homey Airport and Grooms Lake, though the name Area 51 is used in CIA documents from the Vietnam War. The facility is also referred to as Dreamland and Paradise Ranch, among other nicknames. The United States Air Force Public Relations referred to the facility as an operating location near Groom Dry Lake. A special use airspace around the field is referred to as Restricted Area 4808 North. And like I told you before, that lead and silver was discovered in the southern part of the Groom Range in the late mid 1800s. What also was interesting about the place is that before the United States Air Force took over, there was an airfield on the Groom Lake site that began service in 1942 as Indian Springs Air Force Auxiliary Field. It consists of two unpaved 5,000 foot runways at that location. So after World War II, Cold War's going on. The United States government takes over this land. The CIA established it as a testing base in April 1955 for Project Aquatone, which was the development of Lockheed Martin's U-2 strategic reconnaissance aircraft. This is where they started the U-2 spy plane program.
So they developed it there, or they used the area as like testing grounds for the U-2?
Development and testing.
Okay.
The project director, a name which will jog your memory a little bit, Richard M. Bissell, understood that the test flights and pilot training program could not be conducted at Edwards Air Force Base, which is the major Air Force base at the time, or Lockheed's Palm Grade facility, given the extreme secrecy surrounding the project. He concluded a search for a suitable testing site for the U-2 under the same extreme security as the rest of the project. He notified Lockheed, who sent an inspection team out to Groom Lake. According to Lockheed's U-2 designer Kelly Johnson, and I quote, "We flew over it within 30 seconds. You knew that was the place. It was right by a dry lake. Man alive, we looked at that lake, and we all looked at each other. It was another Edwards. So we wheeled around, landed on that lake, taxied up to one end of it. It was a perfect natural landing field, as smooth as a billiard table, without anything being done to it. The lake bed being for the ideal strip for testing aircraft. And the Emigrant Valley mountain ranges and the NTS perimeter protected the site from visitors, about 100 miles north of Las Vegas. The CIA asked the Atomic Energy Commission to acquire the land, designated Area 51 on the map, and added to Nevada's test sites."
Oh, okay. So I take back what I said earlier. The SR-71 was developed.
Yes, I was going to get to that.
Area 51. Okay, sorry.
That was developed under Project Oxcart, which was established in 1959 for anti-radar studies, aerodynamic structural tests, and engineering designs, and all later work under Lockheed's A-12. If you remember, the A-12 was the predecessor to the SR-71.
Okay.
This included testing at Grooms Lake, which had inadequate facilities consisting of buildings for only 150 people, a 5,000 feet asphalt runway, limited fuel, hangar, and shop space. Groom Lake was later received the name Area 51 when the A-12 test facility construction began in September 1960 with a new 8,500 foot runway to replace the existing runway. Reynolds Electrical and Engineering Company began construction of Project 51 October 1st, 1960, with a double shift construction schedules. The contractor upgraded base facilities and built a new 10,000 foot runway diagonally across the southwest corner of the lake bed. They marked a spiral on the dry lake approximately 2 miles so that the A-12 pilots approaching the end of the runway overrun would abort instead of plunging into the sagebrush. Area 51 pilots called it the Hook. For crosswind landings, they marked 2 unpaved airstrips on a dry bed lake. In August 1961, the construction of essential facilities were complete. 3 surplus Navy hangars were erected on the base's north side, while Hangar 7 was new constructions. The original U-2 hangars were converted to maintenance and machine shops. Facilities in the main area include workshops and buildings for storage and administrations, a commissary, control tower, fire station, and housing. So there is housing in Grooms Lake. Not that much. The Navy also contributed more than 130 surplus Babbitt duplex housing units for long-term occupancy facilities. Older buildings were repaired and additional facilities were constructed as necessary. A reservoir pond was surrounded by trees, served as a recreational area 1 mile north of the base. Other recreational facilities include a gymnasium, a movie theater, and a baseball diamond, which you can see on the Google Maps if you zoom in real closely, which is to the northwest of the airfield. A permanent aircraft fuel tank farm was constructed in early 1962 for the special JP-7 fuel required for the A-12. 7 tanks were constructed in a total capacity of 1,320,000 million gallons. Security was enhanced for the arrival of the ox cart. A small mine was closed in the Groom Basin. In January 1962, the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, expanded restricted airspace in the vicinity of Groom Lake, and the lake bed became the center of a 600 square mile addition to the restricted area R4808N. The CIA facility received 8 United States Air Force F-101 Voodoos for training, 2 T-33 Shooting Star trainers for proficiency flying, a C-130 Hercules for cargo transport, a U-3A for administrative purposes, a helicopter for search and rescue, and a Cessna 180 for liaison use. And a Lockheed provided an F-104 Starfighter for use as a chase plane. Well, you got a damn Starfighter. The first A-12 test aircraft was convertedly trucked from Burbank on February 1962 and arrived at Grooms Lake on the 20th of February. It made its first flight on April 26, 1962. The base had 1,000 personnel. Initially, all who were connected with the test were herded into a mess hall before each takeoff. This was soon dropped as it disrupted activities and was impractical with a large number of flights. The closed airspace above Grooms Lake was within Nellis Air Force Range airspace, and pilots saw the A-12 10 to 20 times. Grooms was also the site of the first Lockheed D-21 drone test flight on December 22nd, 1964. At the end of 1963, 9 A-12s were at Area 51, assigned to CIA-operated 1129th Special Activities Squadron.
Okay, so all this information was released in 2013?
Some of it. Some of it was declassified earlier.
Okay. So I'm wondering, like, is this information directly from the government, or is it just hearsay?
This is directly from the government.
Okay.
This is directly, it's telling you, because also around the same time people were seeing what they thought was unidentified flying objects,
and
which was really what they were looking at is the A-12 and the U-2 spy plane.
So actual unidentified flying objects.
Yes,
to the people viewing what they thought was really strange aircraft.
Yes. And it tells you the importance of this base in terms of strategic air reconnaissance and spy planes reconnaissance during the Cold War, that these were the places that they were developed.
I mean, you can make the argument the U-2 spy plane helped us I don't know if anyone won the Cold War,